I'm officially dating an older man, and it has been 2 months, and these are some of the things that I have noticed that have been absolutely fantastic. Do older men hit different? And let me tell you something, I would say yes. It's very different in a positive way. Younger women don't just date older men for their money. I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself. And people are always asking, what is it about an older man? What do you like about an older man? And I'm here to tell you, they usually have more traditional values and roles, and so chivalry is real. They say she wants him for his money. And sometimes that's true, let's be honest. Stability has always been attractive, but it's not just about the money itself. It's about what the money represents. Security, direction, a man who's not guessing where his life is going because he already built it. Younger women don't just want comfort, they want certainty. And in a world full of temporary men and temporary attention, certainty feels like luxury. See, social media made everyone look rich, confident, and desirable, but it also made everything feel fake. So when she meets a man whose confidence is real, whose calm doesn't need a camera, it hits differently. Older men don't just bring money, they bring meaning. They bring masculine energy that isn't forced, it's earned. Because experience gives a man something youth can't, emotional gravity. And that gravity pulls her in, not because she's weak, but because she's tired of pretending that she doesn't need to feel safe. Younger women are growing up in a world that celebrates independence, but quietly punishes vulnerability. They've seen how online freedom can still feel lonely at night. So when they meet a man who makes them feel held instead of compared, that's not manipulation, that's chemistry, recognizing leadership. And men feel it too. When a younger woman looks at an older man with admiration instead of competition, he feels something he hasn't felt in years, respect without resistance. That's what keeps these connections alive. Mutual exchange, not transaction. So yes, some of it is science, some of it is time, but most of it is energy. Because in a generation raised on dopamine hits and digital validation, stability has become the new thrill. In emotional maturity, that's the new luxury. That's why age gap attraction isn't fading, it's growing. Because the more chaotic the modern world becomes, the more valuable calmness feels. And older men, almost by design, have learned that the loudest man in the room isn't the most powerful. He's the least in control. When an older woman dates a younger man, the comments say, "Oh, you go, queen." When an older man dates a younger woman, they say creep. Same age gap, different headline. That's not progress. That's performance. For decades, culture has celebrated women taking control of their love lives, but shamed men for doing the exact same thing. It's not about morality, it's about narrative. Because the moment a man benefits from a dynamic, society calls it predatory. The moment a woman benefits, they call it empowerment. But here's the irony. Both are responding to the same human psychology. Younger men are drawn to youth and admiration. Younger women are drawn to confidence, certainty. Those instincts didn't just appear last week. They've been here for thousands of years. A 2023 YouGov study found that 70% of adults say age gap relationships are socially acceptable. Yet nearly 60% still admit they judge a man more harshly than a woman in the same situation. Even when people claim open-mindedness, the bias shows up in tone, in headlines, and hashtags. And here's why that matters. Judgment changes behaviors. Younger men start hiding their insecurities instead of developing maturity, and older men start hiding their relationships instead of being proud of them. And women get caught in the middle, forced to explain emotions that are perfectly natural. The double standard is simple. When she seeks comfort, it's healing. When he offers it, it's manipulation. But if attraction is mutual and consent is real, what exactly are we condemning? The truth is, people aren't uncomfortable with age gaps. They're uncomfortable with polarities because they remind everyone that no matter how modern the world becomes, men and women are still different by design. And deep down, those differences still work. Older men with younger women disrupt the algorithm. They remind people that masculine energy and feminine energy aren't enemies. They're complementary forces, that a man can lead without control and a woman can surrender without losing herself. Maybe that's why it triggers so many opinions online, because every judgment is really a projection. Older women see what they once had. Younger men see what they're still becoming, and everyone else sees a mirror reflecting what they secretly want but can't admit. They make women feel special and loved and adored in a way that I personally have never seen a guy my age. That's the paradox. Society screams for equality but still craves polarity. It celebrates independence yet quietly misses intimacy. And that's why these connections, no matter how much they're judged, keep happening. Because biology doesn't need permission from culture. It can call it strange, unfair, or outdated, but every time she feels peace in his presence, the noise of the world starts to make a little less sense. Not every age gap relationship is a fairy tale. Some work because both people grew, others fail because one never does. Psychologist Dr. Elena Tyrone explains it like this. Age gap couples who share aligned values, emotional maturity, and mutual respect can be more stable than peers the same age because they consciously build rather than drift. And that's the secret. Age gap love fails when it's built on escape. She's running from a pain. He's running from time. But it lasts when it's built on exchange. She offers vitality. He offers wisdom. She reminds him how to live. He reminds him how to breathe. Still, the challenges are real. Family pressure, cultural judgment, future planning, kids, health, and energy. A 2019 Australian Institute of Family report showed that 40% of large gap couples struggle most not with romance, but with outside perception. Because love is easy when it's private. It's tested when it's public. But the couples that make it, they build boundaries stronger than opinions. They stop explaining themselves to people who never understand what it's like to find peace in someone's difference. And maybe that's the quiet truth no one admits out loud. Older men and younger women don't always last forever, but sometimes they remind each other what love is supposed to feel like before the world got too loud to hear it. Because at the end of it all, age doesn't decide connection, presence does, and peace will always be more attractive than potential. The older man isn't automatically wiser. He's just had more chances to fail and more time to learn what not to repeat. That's what gives him calm. That's what gives him gravity. And the younger woman, she isn't naive. She's just still open. She hasn't been hardened by disappointment long enough to call softness a weakness. That's what makes her radiant. That's what makes her free. So when those two worlds meet, his calm and her curiosity, it creates something rare. Balance. He reminds her that peace is possible. She reminds him that life can still surprise him. It's not always forever. Sometimes it's just the right chapter at the right time. But every so often, it becomes something timeless. Two people who see beyond age, beyond judgment, and build a quiet world that only they can understand. Because deep down, this isn't a story about older men and younger women. It's about what everyone is searching for. Peace, polarity, and presence. The thing that no screen can fake. No algorithm can teach, and no app can replace. And maybe that's the lesson hidden in all of this. You don't attract by pretending to be perfect. You attract by being anchored. The older men stop performing. The younger women stop pretending. And in the silence between them, they both found something real. Because at the end of it all, age doesn't decide connection. Presence does. And peace will always be more attractive than potential. The older man isn't automatically wiser. He's just had more chances to fail and more time to learn what not to repeat. That's what gives him calm. That's what gives him gravity. And the younger woman, she isn't naive. She's just still open. She hasn't been hardened by disappointment long enough to cause softness a weakness. That's what makes her radiant. That's what makes her free. So when those two worlds meet, his calm and her curiosity, it creates something rare. Balance. He reminds her that peace is possible. She reminds him that life can still surprise him. It's not always forever. Sometimes it's just the right chapter at the right time. But every so often, it becomes something timeless. Two people who see beyond age, beyond judgment, and build a quiet world that only they can understand. Because deep down, this isn't a story about older men and younger women. It's about what everyone is searching for. Peace, polarity, and presence. The thing that no screen can fake, no algorithm can teach, and no app can replace. And maybe that's the lesson hidden in all of this. You don't attract by pretending to be perfect. You attract by being anchored. The older men stop performing. The younger women stop pretending. And in the silence between them, they both found something real. Because at the end of it all, age doesn't decide connection. Presence does. And peace will always be more attractive than potential.
The younger woman dates the older man. The way we've seen younger guys look at you isn't normal. Protection, they have it. Decisiveness, they have it. Older men can entertain you, give you money, birthday surprises, everything that you see women want a lot of times. Technically, you in a way are feeling unsafe. They have no self-doubt, meaning they have been through the ups and downs. They know how to control their emotions. The OG guys, they know more. They know better, honey. much better.